actual course curriculum starts, right? I think from what I understand, your course begins from June 2nd onwards. And these are some classes before you guys actually start learning all the subjects of management. Is that correct?
That's
Uh,
right. That's absolutely right. You are here for an induction class, and as I was telling them at a class before, that we are seeing a real manager who's a product of our, our institution, and he's come to our mater. So it's a matter of great pride for us.
yeah, it's a great pride for me
So
as well.
yes.
Thank you so much. I'll break up the session into two parts basically. One is where I'll bore you with a presentation and some concepts that you will anyway study in the next 2 years. You know, I mean, we might have imbibed some things already within ourselves. We were read about a lot of things in books. The 2 years to come, you'll be reading a lot. So you will learn, maybe learn to rote these concepts, which might help you. But actually, what will really help you is the experiences that you will have post you passing out from college and actually entering the corporate world. Let me not waste any further time. And of course, there will be a time for question answers. And depending on how interesting the questions are, it can go on for as much time as you want. This is a Saturday. I can talk for some time. I'll just share my presentation now. And can you guys see the presentation?
You're sharing your
Process.
screen, Dhaval sir. So yeah, it's there. Yeah,
It's there, right? All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Just a minute. I wanted to go full screen. Just waiting for that. All right. So I'm going to take you through something which most of you might be knowing, which is the Bhagavad Gita. Uh, so you'd probably be thinking, why is he talking about Bhagavad Gita? And this is actually a class on managerial effectiveness. But trust me, I mean, I have not read the whole book myself. But the book gives an insight into spirituality and also into how should one conduct oneself. And I think that is the basis of everything that you do in life, not just your management course, but everything that you do in your life is basically self conduct and the result of that. So what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita basically is a conversation between Shri Krishna, God, and a human being, which is Parth or Arjuna. And everyone knows the story about Mahabharata, so I'm not going to delve into that. But why they have this conversation and what happens before and after the conversation? What are the confusions that Arjun has before starting off on a mission to kill his own brothers, and how he overcomes this hurdle of thinking that this is not his duty, and he eventually surpasses that feeling, and how Krishna plays a role in helping him do that. So it's a conversation basically, and how what does it have an impact as a manager? What what um, what qualities that Krishna explains in this conversation is what is important. So I'll just give you a half a minute to read through this. I don't want to repeat the whole text. You can read through this, and I'll explain why I have chosen this, and why I think it is very important to learn managerial effectiveness from the Bhagavad Gita. I'll just give you half a minute. You can read through the slide. I hope everyone can see the slide.
Yes, sir.
All right. So as I explained, Bhagavad Gita is a very old text, and based on some content from this text, you can actually explain managerial effectiveness in these ways. So, why is it relevant to Indians? Because not only do we have our roots in spirituality, we all have a recognition towards Bhagavad Gita. I'm sure there are all other books which are equally important of all different cultures and sects and religions. It, there is no bias towards having only Bhagavad Gita as a managerial book. I'm sure you can learn management from any book and from any person rather, but this has a concise. I mean, this is what I have at least gone through and what I have come across. So why is managerial effectiveness very culture specific? That is because our values are very different from childhood. We live in a so the Western society lives in a different kind of environment, and we live in a very different kind of environment. We normally live with our parents. We grow up around our elders. In tier one cities or metro cities, the culture is quite different now. I mean, people have nuclear families. They, even though they are the families around them, but they stay separate. Um, Having a different kitchen in our in tier two, tier three cities probably is considered a taboo. Or it's a very big thing, which is slowly changing. For good or bad, it's anybody's guess. But our cultures are very different. We develop values from our, we take values from our parents, uh, from a social cultural background, and what we get from our elders, and the kind of knowledge we get from our elders is very different from what the Western countries follow. They have a culture of individuality, and they try to follow that since childhood. They want to make the child independent from day one. They want the child to think independently, live on his own. As soon as he's upon his feet, they want him out of the house. So these are some cultural implications that different countries will have. So Bhagavad Gita, I think, is crucial for us to understand, because it has the same basis that all our countrymen have. I mean, most of our countrymen live in a similar way, depending on their social background, obviously. So this basically just a definition of managerial effectiveness, that it has contributions from various fields. Like you who would have thought of anthropology, but anthropology is basically is a study of the same, like I said, the value system. So how you interact with the people of people in your surrounding, and how you learn from them, what you imbibe as qualities from them. It also has economics and finance as a basis, because obviously when you're joining a management course, you're expected to know economics and finance, and they are going to be the basis of everything you do going forward in the corporate world. So successful manager is believed to be intelligent, imaginative, and knowledgeable. So please read through this slide as well before I continue. I'll just wait for half a minute. I think half a minute should be good for reading speed for everybody, I guess. So I think the last paragraph is the most crucial here. We all know that, I mean, a good manager will have to be very good at conflict management, or he has to be good at leadership or motivation skills or goal setting, or working within the set parameters of an organization. But what is most important is their approach. The Western approach is a very external approach. It's a materialistic approach towards matter and energy, while the Bhagavad Gita recommends that a effective manager is more inward looking. So he has to develop from within, and he has to hone his skills from within, which will externally anyway show once he has developed those skills. Let me ask quickly, how many participants are there on the class right now?
There are around 30 participants, sir. No?
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So in any case, if you want to stop me in between and ask me something, I mean, I'm glad that I'm more than happy.
The class is all yours, sir. All yours.
Yes.
And we all are people who have left industry and joined academics, and we want to show them someone who belongs to IBS and is there in the industry. So that's the reason that they are here, right? So please continue, sir. Huh?
Yeah, yes, I'm continuing, but I'm just telling you that in case someone wants to unmute and ask anything, feel free. I mean, just think of it as a real class where you are sitting in front of me.
Students, don't feel shy, right? Please venture, ask, participate the way you do it with your teachers.
Yes.
Please do that.
It could be any question.
Please make it more interactive.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. So going ahead, I mean, Krishna went and said, don't let yourself to this degrading importance. Why is he referring to degrading importance? The importance here is not what the real word means. It actually means that that Arjuna is trying to shy away from his duty of fighting the war. He's having this weakness of, like I said, he's actually going to fight with his cousins, with his brothers, and with his uncles, and he doesn't want to. So he is talking to Krishna and trying to understand that how do I pick up weapons against my own. And so Krishna is trying to differentiate between his act of war and his relation with the enemy. The act of war for him is the duty that he is bound to, because he has to win back his kingdom, which was taken away wrongly from him, and also with all the insults to his own family. So Krishna is trying to explain that focus your energy on doing your duty and not on the aspect of who you are fighting against. In a corporate setup, you will have no enemies, right? You will barely know people around you when you join. When you start your career, I don't know how many of you have worked earlier prior to joining IBS, but let's keep that number to ourselves. I'm just throwing it in the class that if you have worked earlier, you will understand that it's a very impersonal culture when you start off. There you don't know anybody. You meeting your colleague for the first time. You might have some college friends along with you when you join, in case they are also chosen along with you. But other than that, you'll have strangers. They could be from different colleges. They could be seniors. If it's a small organization, you might be a few handful of you. You might not know the person, the culture he comes from, the way he talks, whether you will gel with him or not. But as Krishna explains here, you are there because you have to do a duty. You have joined the corporate culture to make a career. Your duty is to make sure that you give your best to the organization you join, and the end result should help you your promotion or your enhancement of your career. So if you shy away from that, then I mean, you basically should not be in the battle at all. That's what he's trying to get at. So if you've come to the battlefield, please go ahead and give your best. That's what he's trying to get at. So managers who are mentally weak obviously cannot attain the organizational vision and mission. Now, when you join an organization, there is you would have read vision and mission statements of organizations. They all have very varied, and some of them could be quite generalistic in terms of vision and mission. But what you actually end up doing is, I mean, in your job role, your manager or your there is a policy which gets rolled out every year, which will help you kind of give a direction to the work that you're supposed to do, and what will you achieve if you do those goals. If you do it in a certain way, if I have been a part of sales all all my life. So I can tell you that our role revolves around numbers. The number gets reset at 0 every uh, the first of April, which is the start of the financial year, and it ends at March 31st. And whatever I do in between is basically gets reflected on my appraisal and obviously and hence my bank account. So I think what you need to focus when you join any organization is what is the role given to you. I mean, you can call it that. You can, it's like blinkers on. I mean, you need to focus on that goal for that year, and you have to make sure you achieve your best. Now, when you are in college, I mean, these things might not really. You might feel that it's fine. I mean, we'll just sail through. However, like, but if you have this in mind, where you have the consciousness that when I join an organization, I'm not joining here to just to make friends or just to earn money. You are there to build a career. Remember, when you are starting with it's the first job, you are actually learning more than anything else. So in the first 2 years of your career, I think it's very, very important that you pay utmost attention to what job profile you're going to start off with, because that will actually lay the foundation for a good career for you. I mean, uh, and for me, I mean, when I started off with Standard Chartered Bank, uh, all you know about banking is some check deposits and check withdrawal, cash withdrawals. I would have gone with my parents or for some small work like that in the bank, but I didn't know exactly how a bank functions. Uh, what are the people actually doing behind the counter? It seems like a very easy job. They just have to count money, just give it to people. But there is a lot of MIS um, which that's the word you will basically hear like every day of your life as you start a corporate career. There is an MIS for each and everything, for each and every individual in that branch or that place of work, and there is no one who is working outside it. That is because they all have goals that they have been given at the start of the year, and you have to achieve that goal. If it's a teller sitting on the counter, his job is to make sure that that person gives the money exactly as much as is there in the balance of the customer. He or she cannot have a mistake over there. So there is balancing which is done at the end of when the shutters are down. There is balancing of accounts which is done every day. And uh, I know of employees who sit back until 12 o'clock if it doesn't matches. They have to actually go through the trouble of going through each and every entry that has been done on that day, and make sure that the balance, the credit debit balances are matched for that particular day. Umpteen examples like this. So the people sitting at the I'm giving you an example of a bank because uh, I think it's just like any other business where there is a front office and there is a back office. To put it very simply, the front office actually deals with customers and actually is the face of the organization, and the back office is where the balancing or all the accounts is or the MIS is take over, and where people actually uh, basically make the balance sheet of eventually make the balance sheet of the organization. So coming back to Sri Krishna, I think uh, like in the chariot of the body, I mean, this last paragraph is I think is so crucial in your life, that your five horses are your senses, and your mind is your intelligence is the driver. So if you control the mind, all your senses can be controlled, and if all your senses are in control, you are in control of your career. So um, speaking, when to speak, what to speak in a corporate culture, one might think it's just like college. I mean, you meeting some people who are of the same age, they are doing the same job as you are, so it's all right. But frankly, you get noticed from every direction. Once you are in a corporate setup, your manager is looking at you, your colleagues are looking at you, and they are forming an opinion about you. You like it or not, they are forming an opinion about you. And opinions don't matter, because don't matter when they don't impact your appraisal, but opinions matter when they impact your appraisal. And there are always uh, people in the organization who you'll find affinity with, or some people who you'll not get along with. You might try your best, but it's very important for you to make sure that you have a cordial relationship minimum with everybody, because otherwise it might play havoc in your career also. And I've seen that hundreds of times, and at different organizations, not just one. So make sure that you are in control of what you are doing, what you are saying, and whether you are really there seriously to do your duty or not. I'm not trying to scare you, but trust me, I'm telling you what I have gone through for 14 years. So it might help you. I mean, you might think about it this way, that uh, like in your family, I'm sure, so different people come from different families. Some of you might have professionals in your family, like doctors, engineers, uh, chartered accountants. Your parents could be some of your parents could be one of them. Some of you guys would be coming from business backgrounds, where your parents where you're from a business family, where your parents are second or third generation entrepreneurs, and you don't have exposure towards the corporate culture. In case of professionals, most parents will obviously guide them as to how one should, behave in a corporate setup. But there are a lot of people who come from a non professional background. My parents were not professionals, so they have never worked in a corporate culture. So whatever I've learned on my own. And so it's better, since you're talking to me, since I'm just like you. I was a student of IBS maybe a decade back, but I'm still a student. And whatever I've learned in the corporate, maybe if I can imbibe I can tell you some of the things which you can imbibe, it will be great for you, and I'll be very happy if you get some benefit out of this conversation. uh, Let me go to the next slide. You can uh, you can read this once. I'll just give you a minute. Again, I mean, here also Krishna is saying that duty is the most important. So he encourages Arjun to do his duty and not to run away from the battlefield. But I mean, in doing so, he's actually trying to change his behavior. He I mean, there is an amount of self motivation which everyone has to do certain things. There are things which you like to do. For example, you might like reading. For that, you don't need any motivation. It comes naturally to you. But there is, when it comes to reading for studies, I mean, when you have to study, it becomes difficult for you, because it's not doesn't come naturally. Uh, Reading fiction, non-fiction, your interest area books might come easily, but when you have to study for exams, it doesn't come naturally to you. But that's what Krishna is trying to get at. It's your duty basically. When you have joined a college, your duty is to make sure that you get the best out of your teachers. You make sure you study the most and make the most of the connections that you are making right now. You are actually lucky to be in a college where you will have. So I'm telling you the good things about IBS, that you will be actually a part of a batch which is in excess of 500, if I'm not wrong. So you are actually starting off with a network of 500 people from day one, which are going to be spread out all over the country, and they are probably going to be working for the best corporates that you know. So I mean, use this 2 years to make sure that these networks are strong. And for these networks to be strong, you have to first start by interacting. And and again, coming to the behavioral aspect, when I joined college, I was, I can't say I was an introvert. I mean, I don't want to label with that, but yes, I was towards the intro. I was, edging towards being an introvert. But by the end of 2 years, I had completely changed. And I mean, this happened by myself. No one really came and told me that with the number of like students that we have, teachers cannot pay individual attention to each and every one of you. So the motivation has to come from within to change yourself. By by changing yourself, you don't need to change your inherent behavior, but you need to get those qualities which is going to help you in your career. That that will have a huge impact on your career. Trust me, more than anything else, more than your studies, more than your marks, that's going to have the most impact on your career. How you developed as a personality in the 2 years to come, the 2.5 years, because there'll be some internship also. So the 2.5 years, and starting and making use of this network, the 500 people, besides your besides your student counselors, besides your teachers, how you make use of this 500 network and grow it to a 5,000 network is all depend on you. It all depends on you. So I mean, you might think, अरे जॉब तो एक ही है, तो ये 500 लोग का क्या काम है? मतलब जॉब तो एक ही करनी है ना, एक ही जॉब चाहिए आपको को. But once you start the job, you never know how you'll need the other person. Uh, you think, for example, I'm in a broking firm, ICC Securities. So I have friends who are research analysts. So they write research reports. So research report analyst for the chemical sector in ICICI Securities, you think he doesn't talk to a research analyst in, let's say, Anand Rathi or IIFL. They have to. They are a part of of an ecosystem where they have to get the best out of each other, and for that they need to talk to people outside. So how do they build those connections? So one is, they would have probably met somewhere in a conference, or they could have, or someone would have actually gone and hunted for for a connection of the same, for the same sector in the other organization. He would have gone and asked his network, कि यार, do you know someone from there? I have a doubt on an organization. I just need to, before getting out of my printing my research report, although people don't share, I mean, officially, information on one, about that broking house's view over one company. I'm saying, but he'll get a comfort of, or at least an idea of what's happening in that sector. So I think interaction with peers, with seniors, with juniors, and with teachers, of course, most importantly with teachers, I think will play a huge role. um, I remember in my class while I was doing college, there were some students who would perpetually, after every class, wait and keep asking some questions to teachers, which initially I found that, it's like, it's really silly. I mean, after every class they have to run to the teacher. I mean, is it still school? How typical, ranker behaves in school, right? He's running to teacher again and again and asking some, just to be in the eye of the teacher. But frankly, in a management curriculum, that is not what the student is probably doing. The student is probably trying to make sure that he is in touch with the teacher, not only for the curriculum, but also to maybe ask questions later, depending on, because if the student takes interest in talking to the teacher eventually will take interest in talking to the student, and will know his strong points, and might suggest something which will help the student maybe eventually. I'm not asking you to run behind teachers. I'm just telling you that that will just show your interest in developing yourself. It doesn't have to. You don't have to go to teachers for every small thing, but trust me, if you go to teachers and talk to them, you will always find some intelligence which will actually help you, beyond that class, not just for that class. You might be learning accounts, and uh, again, let me come back to each and every subject later. But when you're learning accounts, uh, and you are absolutely new to accounts, and there will be maybe one third of the college who will have a non-commerce background, and they will have a tough time, like I had, unless you make friends with people who are very, very good at accounts, who are going to help you, maybe your roommates. I know that we are in a pandemic, and I don't know when you will come to Bombay for actually attending physical college. It's unfortunate, frankly, and it's unfortunate for a lot of things. But it's quite unfortunate that you cannot interact immediately. But I'm sure that by the end of the year, I think we'll have a lot of vaccinations done, and hopefully the college will open its doors for all the students, and you guys all come to Bombay and stay together, which is, I think, one of the most crucial things in the 2 years that you will have, staying together and learning from each other. uh, uh, an engineer might be very, very good with quants, and vice versa about accounts, and the same goes for a commerce graduate. So I mean, you will have to learn from each other, take each other's help. But when you go to with these accounts questions to teachers, you might find yourself uh, in a position where you think that it's quite a silly question to ask, frankly. But trust me, the teacher doesn't care. You come and ask for whatever you want. The teacher will be glad to help you. But of course, it won't be like a private tuition, because he has a class of 80, probably 50 or 80 to manage. But there is no doubt about it that IBS teachers will help you every way possible, and they will actually guide you as to how you can make that problem go away. I mean, it could be anything. Uh, I'm talking about academics right now. I'll just let you be with this slide for a moment. We just have a look. This is self-management and managerial effectiveness. So here you need to decide whether you want to be a Brahmana or you want to be a Kshatriya, where what are the qualities that you want to imbibe in yourself. Sri Krishna stresses on the part of self-management where you have to let go of your bad qualities. By bad qualities, it means the qualities which are actually stopping you from reaching your potential. This could be anything. It could be anger, it could be ego. You might be very good at a subject, and you might find yourself to be overconfident sometimes, that ये तो मुझे आता है. But trust me, there is always someone who's better than you, one. And second is that you might not be good at something else which that person might be good at. So when coming to why you are here, I mean, you're doing a management course because eventually you want to get work for corporates, and you want to get a job in one of the best companies of India and give your best and make sure you have a career. Money and everything will obviously follow, but it's more importantly that how you use your skills. So when you're sitting in front of an interviewer, and the interviewer is trying to not he doesn't want to see what you are really good at. He wants to see your personality, whether he's carrying a job profile in hand, and he wants these qualities from you as you pass out from college. He knows that it's a management college, so he's not going to ask you management, what are the 3 P's, or I mean any question from your academics. There might be some people who might ask, but frankly what they're also trying to, even after asking that, they're trying to get at is how you handle that query whether you are good at academics will show one in your CGPA, and not necessarily always in your CGPA, but mostly in your CGPA as to how good at your academics. But what have you done in the 2 years, 2.5 years? How are you as a personality? I think that will come across very, very evidently. And it will show from, things that we assume are of low importance, like, body language, or the way you present yourself, the way you talk, your communication, uh, your English. I think less, the more stress I play on having good communication. Uh, it's 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 so crucial, because because communication actually plays a huge role in actually bringing out everything that you have. So if you're unable to communicate, if you are unable to talk in good English, it's okay. If you're not able to do that right now, you have 2.5 years. Please prepare yourself in a way that when you sit across an interviewer, you come across as a polished management graduate who knows what he has to do, and who can apply himself in the workplace. Eventually, what the interviewer wants is a person who can do best for the organization. If he is come for to recruit someone for his team, and he has certain targets for himself, he is going to pass on a part of the target to you. If it's a sales profile, don't get scared. If it's a part of a sales profile, he might be passing on a target to you. If he thinks that नहीं ये बंदा तो कर ही नहीं पाएगा, या ये बंदी कर नहीं पाएगी, so he will not select you, right? The interview is the first filter. He will not select you. But if you showcase that as a manager, you can not only do this job, you can also do this job. It will come across in your speech, in the way you present, you talk. See, the interview lasts for probably 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So the interviewer comes from the industry, so he's aware, he's meeting thousands of people every day. So he can judge you in those 5-10 minutes. It cannot be a complete 100%. The whole personality cannot be seen in those 5-10 minutes. But trust me, he does see through 70 to 80% of it, especially coming after experiences of 15 years, 20 years of work X, and then coming and sitting across a student, because he's been through the whole process, right? So what is motivation actually? Does it have to be internal, or it has to be external? So see, once you join an organization, you will have enough of external motivation, because the organization wants to drive you to a certain goal. They've already recruited you, so they're going to drive you to a certain goal. For that, you'll have enough external motivation. And while your internal motivation is, what do you want to do yourself? Whether you want to do only what the organization has given as a list of things to do, or you want to go beyond that. You want to showcase your skills. You want to learn something more. The same goes for your college. In the next 2.5 years, whether you want to do your assignments at hand, or whether you want to learn something from it, whether there's a deadline to meet, so you are just यहाँ वहाँ से copy paste करके फटाफट सब presentation बना दिया और present कर दिया 4-5 लोग ने मिलकर class में. But whether that will satisfy you or not, because उस presentation के आसपास का कुछ भी पूछा अगर टीचर ने आपको, तो शायद आपको नहीं पता होगा. See, there is when I'm saying this is all this has time bound, right? There will be activities which will be given to you which have to be time bound, and I agree that not in every activity will you be able to give 120%, because of the paucity of time. But the motivation of doing it will come from within only. So the same way as Shri Krishna says over here, and he is trying to motivate and energize Arjuna to do his duty from within. External, he's already standing on the battlefield, right? So he's already there. He's standing in front of his enemy. So the external motivation is already staring at him. But what does he have to do to actually move ahead and do his duty and start the action? For that, it has to come internally. It cannot come by looking at the enemy. It cannot come when they start moving towards you. It will happen only when you have the motivation and where you want to be proactive and start the action. So I mean, motivation is basically the key to succeed. So basically, after hearing like whatever 500-600 verses of Bhagavad Gita, uh, Arjuna had I mean, so much of knowledge that he got from Krishna, that why doing your duty is important. If you don't do your duty, then will you be able to face yourself in the mirror? If whether you are doing justice to your skills. We all know that he was the best archer there was. I mean, besides Karna and Eklavya, I guess. Yes. So we don't know who's like number one. There is no seeding there, but everyone knew that he was a great warrior. He was a great archer, and but what does he have to prove himself for? I mean, he knows that he is a great archer. He doesn't have to prove himself. But here he is standing right now in the battlefield, where the duty is to make use of his skills and make sure that the enemy loses. So if he doesn't use these skills, what are these skills useful for? So if in 2 years, 2.5 years, when you're doing a management course, whatever you will learn is basically the skills that you will get. One is skills from academics, when you are learning subjects which you might not have learned earlier, but you are learning now. And there would be skills which you already are very good at, but you will become even better. There will be things like soft skills, which most colleges and schools don't pay any attention to. I mean, it's started now with international schools, but our education system is crooked in that way, where we don't have any kind of exposures to soft skills, uh, at how to have an emotional quotient, as how to have better interpersonal skills. Because in colleges, I mean, beyond your friendships, you have not really gone ahead and invested time in building a relationship with someone. So uh, till now, I think what you've done is more of uh, more of your teenage taking over. But I think from now on, you're moving towards a phase where you are actually getting serious about your life and what you want to do with it. So don't waste these 2.5 years. You actually use it to the fullest. I think the virus is actually taking away the experience that you would have had otherwise, but that's only for a short time. You will definitely be back in college. I'm sure about that. And when you are in college, so beyond this virtual presence, you will actually be meeting each other and talking to each other, and uh, like I said, build upon your strengths. You might be coming with some strengths, and you'll be missing some strengths altogether. But there is enough. These 2.5 years is enough to actually start something and actually become very good at it. Um, in fact, now that you are at home, for finance graduates also, and for I mean, at least I can talk about finance because I know a little bit. So there are courses like the FRM, like the CFA. All these are courses, if you can do along with your studies, your management studies, if you can manage, trust me, it will take a lot to do these along with management course. But if you think you have it in you to kind of because since you are not spending time traveling right now, you're not spending time in college, you have a little bit more time. Please start doing those. Start doing some research on what you think you might be interested in, because these courses are not easy. You will have to spend like lots of time, and trust me, once you start working, it's going to become extremely difficult to focus on any activities beyond your work. And to get these certifications now while you're doing college, because I know uh, hundreds of people who take it along with the management course, and they actually find it surprisingly easier at that point of time, because after you start working, like I said, the time is of essence, and you will probably be spending time more in office and more improving yourself and doing better for your own good and earning money basically. So if you can spend this 2.5 years to do any parallel courses, it will be great for you. Trust me, it will help you. It will help your CV. It will help your resume. It will build some more skills to you, and trust me, it doesn't never nothing ever goes to waste. So that's for sure. So whatever you will learn, you will definitely use it somewhere or the other, and see what is there in the industry, what the industry requires now. We are in a technological, I mean, we've been there. So India is changing leaps and bounds every day. If you see, there are like 20 unicorns, I think 10 unicorns this year itself in India, I think, all based out of India. So the startup culture is there to remain. So you never know. I mean, you can. Sky is the limit here. I mean, you can probably start a company while you are in college. You never know. So a lot of people did start. I mean, I'm sure all the guys here or even girls know about Dream 11, right? Dream 11 is a gaming company. Dream 11 started while the guy was in college. I mean, he's an engineering graduate from Bombay, and he probably started building on the game while he was in college. So today he might be a billionaire. I mean, see, these stories are few and far in between, but who knows? I mean, why can't it be your story? It can be. It can very well be. So no one actually trains you for it. It all comes from within, frankly, and the need. Uh, so you might not need the money right now, and you think that, "Arey, why should I start working right now only?" But satisfaction that you might get by doing something that you are good at, and maybe collaborate with some other people and learn something from them. It might just fall flat on its face for all you know. It doesn't matter, but at least you tried. And I mean, once you try something, I mean, you have an experience attached with it, and that experience will stay with you. So I think the same goes for studies also. If you want to do some courses along with your management course, please go ahead and do it. And again, I mean, coming back to Sri Krishna, after this, after so many sermons to Arjuna, he was able to get Arjuna out of his own uh, inhibitions. So Arjuna was fighting Arjuna himself. He was fighting his own self. He was fighting his own will to do his duty. Eventually, after sermons from Krishna, he picked up his bow and arrow, and everyone knows the result. But he fought the war. The result actually is immaterial, but he fought the war. That is the most important takeaway from this. His illusion was now gone. He's motivated to win the war for Pandavas, and so this is true. This is basically a lesson in management, managerial effectiveness only, because Krishna here is the leader who is a transformational leader. He is actually changed someone's behavior from being a non-doer to a doer. He's actually changed Arjuna's perspective towards life, towards how he needs to look within before looking out, and whether he has and to make sure that he believes that he has it in him to win the war. So I think this is what Krishna changed in Arjuna, and that is called, it's an example of leadership as well. But that's how he transformed him. So I think wherever there is a Sri Krishna and Arjuna, there will be victory, because when there is this communication between Krishna and Arjuna, there will be victory. When Arjuna wants to learn something, he wants to become a better person in always possible. He will definitely find a Krishna, and there is always a Krishna who wants to change people, because it's for his own benefit also, right? This Krishna is your manager at work. Maybe it could be it could be a Krishna could be your manager. He could be your mentor, or he could be someone who's working with you, and he's going to actually benefit from actually going to benefit from the work that you do. So it doesn't matter what. So it doesn't matter from whom you get the motivation. I think most important is to make sure that you become an effective manager at work. You become an effective person when you are in college, and use all your skills, all the resources in a corporate setup. The resources would be time, money. I mean, the clients that are managed by you, the clients given to you by the organization. These are all the resources in college, in your workplace. In college, your resources are your books, your teachers, your friends, your social circle. By social circle, I do mean that you might have friends outside college also when you join, right? So your social circle, all those things will play a huge role in building your personality in the next 2.5 years, and it will eventually make sure that you are ready for the corporate world, because there will be hundreds of challenges. And I spoke about challenges in terms of achieving targets or meeting deadlines, but there will be hundreds of different other different challenges, especially for women as well. So how to deal with with male bosses and vice versa. I mean, all these things you might not know when you are in college. You will learn probably on the job, but there are enough laws and regulations in every workplace to protect you in every way possible. But eventually you are on your own when you are at the workplace. That make sure of that. I mean, keep that in mind. When you are at the workplace, you are on your own and you are working for your own. So make sure that you are very, very well prepared in the 2 years, 2.5 years. The summer internship will play a huge role. I mean, I think I spoke to one of the batches who was getting placed recently. I mean, from IBS, and there were inhibitions as to whether we should join this company or not join this company. I was telling them about the year that we are in. I mean, in a pandemic year, I think you should grab at whatever comes to your foray, right? I mean, you should latch on to any opportunity that comes, because jobs could be scarce. I mean, you never know. Industries are suffering. Jobs could be scarce. So at least in this year, for it doesn't matter, because you are just starting off. So you have a good 2.5 years before things stabilize and normalize. And India is definitely a growth story. So there is no doubt about that. So I'm sure you will all use these 2.5 years to the best of your ability and to the best of the ecosystem's ability. IBS has a great ecosystem. They will make sure that you are ready for the corporate life. But how well you do is all on you. I mean, like I am no Krishna, but I mean, from whatever you've learned from this presentation, if you learn something is something that is being a self-starter. Have motivation on your own. Try to learn things on your own, and academics will definitely help you. But what will eventually help you is what you have imbibed in yourself in these 2.5 years. With that, I'll stop, and I'll be happy to take any questions. I can't hear you, ma'am. I think you are on mute.
Students, you have any questions? I think it's the first day induction class. So you would remember, Dhaval sir, your days. So anyone, any questions?
Please don't feel shy. You can ask. I mean, see, like I said, I was 14 years back, I was at the same place as you are. 16 years back, rather, because 2 years of college. So yeah, so please ask whatever you want.
Hello, sir.
Hi, who's this? Meenal, is it?
Meenal, yes.
Hi, Meenal, tell me.
So, sir, I would like.
It will be nice if I can see your face here. I mean.
Sorry, sir, I'm not prepared.
That's all right. No problem. Go ahead.
Sir, I would like to know, like, how can we invest our time in these 2 years? How can we utilize and make best use of the course curriculum? And like, also, can we participate in various activities or anything like we should take up extra? So please
That's
give.
right. So, since you're starting a management course, let me warn you and tell you that it's going to be exhaustive course. There is a lot of study material. So, my advice on doing courses along with the study has to be taken like with very measured intent, because you don't want to lag in your CGPA and then do extracurricular activities or extra courses. You have to focus on your CGPA, because eventually that's what will rank you amongst your friends, and eventually to the placement season, because there are corporates who do have a very strict cutoffs as to what CGPA they want at the end of 2 years. So first is focus on the studies which have been given to you. I think the study material of ICFI is exhaustive. It has a lot of things which most management colleges don't have that quality of material. So it's essential that you make sure that you make full use of that first, and if you think that still you can manage more, then only then take up parallel courses or certifications or things like that. But yeah, besides the like on the non-academics, I think the college has its own fest. The college gives you opportunity to kind of participate in any fest that you can showcase your skills and win some accolades for the college. Uh, College also has, at least till I was there. I mean, I was one of the people who was organizing Karkash, which is a sports event. I think it still continues, and that's also, I think, an essential part of your development. So make sure that you are very active, because physically also you'll have to be very active to kind of make sure that your mind is active. So I'm sure the college takes care of these things. Right now, I think there is no other way, but probably some online sessions they might do. I'm not even sure if I'm promising anything on their behalf, frankly. But the physical, I think, strength and physical well-being is very important. And make sure that you take part in all extracurricular activities that you are interested in. It could be music also. I mean, the college, I think, will give you even enough opportunities to showcase all these things. And if it's not giving an opportunity, you can start something on your own. You can start a club. You can start, it could be anything. It could be a trekking club. I mean, once things are back to normal, I mean, Maharashtra is beautiful. You can actually travel in and around Maharashtra and have groups which have similar interests. So I think sky is the limit. Once you are on your own, you're out of the comfort zone of your parents. I was unlucky that I'm born and brought up in Bombay, so I've actually never come out of the umbrella of having parents around you. But you guys, maybe most of you will be coming from outside Bombay, so you will have. In fact, it's the best time to. I mean, you'll have the time of your life. I think if you really use it well. I hope I have answered your question. And
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
Yes, sir. This is Sanket here.
hi, Sanket.
I posted a question on your chat box also.
Oh,
I'm not able to see.
sorry, थोड़ा technology थोड़ा weak है मेरा. एक मिनट, let me have a look.
अच्छा.
What is the question? Can you please read it? And I have a lot of background noise.
Okay, sir. I'm reading it out. Sir, does a reference of the previous company impact when we change the job or joining the another company?
So, if you can give me a specific example, whether you have something.
For example, there is a conflict. For example, there is a conflict of salary between the previous company, and suddenly you leave the job because you are not because we are not affordable with that amount of the salary. So does it impact the our performance, or the new company asks the reference of the previous company?
So I think what you're trying to get at is background check.
Yes.
Background check is very, very important now in all corporates. There are large companies who are doing background checks, and you can mute your line, Satya.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so I was saying that background checks are essential in terms of all employers. When they come to campus, also they do background checks. Especially, you might not be aware, but these companies have contracts with background, verification companies. They whatever you're giving as your certificates, your graduation certificates, your post graduation certificates, whatever you're writing in your resume, basically can get background check. And even as freshers, your educational document might get checked in the background. So make sure no one is doing anything wrong, because that kind of an impact. I mean, if you really goof up on something like that, that can have a ripple effect on your career, and it will really be sorry to use the word, but damning for you. So don't ever think of writing or saying anything wrong when you're presenting yourself to the new employer, because he can very well go and check in the background. And even though you join the job, it can still impact your job going forward. So I would say, yes, be very, very careful with background checks. Do not
So
showcase
what we can do in these circumstances when the conflict is really genuine? Just I talk about the salary brokers.
what you can do is you can just please mute your line again, Sangeet. So what you can do is you can actually explain to your new employer what had happened and exactly how it happened, and let them be the judge of it. Beyond that, there's nothing in your control. They can go ahead and check their own way. If they've recruited you, they trust you, and they want to listen and trust you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Sarika, you on mute again.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much, sir, for enlightening the students,
Most
and
welcome.
telling them about managerial effectiveness, which are indoctrinated in the principles of Bhagavad Gita. So all throughout, as we tell you, we talk about Taylor and Fayol students, and you've studied it. But these principles are very, very inherent and indigenous to us.
Absolutely.
And sir has given fantastic examples, and especially that you are your own doer. He's brought out a lot of analogies, and I'm sure all this would hold in good stead. Keep remembering, the induction classes, as I tell my students, is one of the most important classes. Things which we are not able to teach, in the curriculum, in the course structured curriculum, we do that. And this year our endeavor was to get somebody who is our product and has become, a corporate successful the banker, and it's really, really, really a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of IBS, this is Sarika Rachuri. I teach economics, and my colleague Prakash Pandit, sir, he teaches marketing,
Nice.
Management. Yes, sir, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yes, so it was a pleasure
He
having
must have
you.
gotten bored of the 1 hour of
No,
Bhagavad Gita.
it's always a pleasure,
No,
and it's
that
always,
was-
see,
it's
that's
a
the
different
best part
change,
about
a
teaching.
different
You see
change,
things
yeah.
from different lens, and we
I
have
agree.
left. Prakash sir has left, what do you say, corporate sector in 2008, so that's why he was, otherwise he would have been your teacher, if you would have joined a year back. And I have left in 2014. I was with MCX, and I was,
Oh, nice.
yeah. So, but so it's always nice to have somebody who's there in the industry, because that's where these kids, this is the final frontier for them,
Absolutely.
all these students, right?
Yes.
So pleasure, and this is not the end. And just don't, the kids, I have heard you very intently. I can assure you that by the number which went up, from 28 to 50, right? So
Okay.
yeah. So it was a great lecture, and this is just the beginning. Dhaval sir, we'll have you for many, many more such sessions. Thank you. What a pleasure having you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we hope to have you here again
Thank
in
you.
the semesters. Yeah.
Sure, Mr. Pandit. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
I hope all the best to all my friends who are
Yes.
joining college. Very, very important. Please keep your confidence high. This pandemic is almost over. Just trust me on that. It's wait for 6 months and things will turn around. And our country is, I think, one of the fastest growing countries. You will have like thousands of opportunities. Make sure that you are there for the opportunity. You are up the mark. That's it.
So thank you with that. We end and all the best. So from Tuesday, picture abhi baki hai, 2 years, right?
अरे शुरू होनी बाकी है.
हाँ, बिल्कुल पूरी शुरू होनी बाकी है. That's right. So shall we end the meeting? Yes,
Yes.
students?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think